And welcome to your mediation. I will be your mediator today. I want to explain my role here today in what's called my opening statement. I'm going to be a neutral third party that is going to help both of you hopefully come to a decision or an agreement of some sort. I'm not on your side and I'm not on your side. The decisions and agreements have to be worked out between the two of you. I'm here to facilitate that, okay? So don't feel like I'm taking sides. And I am qualified to help you with this mediation. I've completed the basic 40 hours of mediation training. I'm a teacher at El Central College. I'm a science teacher, but I've been doing this mediation for a little while here, you know. So I will help you out the best that I can. I must make certain that both of you understand my role. Did y'all understand everything I explained just a moment ago?
Yes.
Okay. Now, confidentiality is very important. And that means anything we discuss in here will not go outside this room. Not on paper, not verbally. I cannot be sent to court. However, if anything comes up about elderly abuse, child abuse, that does have to be reported by law, but you cannot send me to court. Are we all straight with that?
Yes.
All right. Now, part of confidentiality, you know, I see y'all taking notes, and I will be taking notes too. Those will be destroyed after the mediation. Okay? And if we were to come to an agreement, we would keep that piece of paper with both of y'all's signatures, and, you know, we put that on file to make sure y'all follow through with the agreement. Time constraints. Have both of y'all set aside an hour and a half as we spoke over the phone?
Yes.
Okay. Are all cell phones off?
Yes.
Alright, if anything does come up, please just raise your hand and let me know. We can always reschedule. Now that I have introduced myself, you will get a chance to introduce yourself and state why you're here, but I want to make sure, can I address y'all by first name?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Alright, does anybody have any questions before I continue? Okay, now, a lot of times, individuals don't understand what it is to have the authority to settle. If y'all do come to an agreement, the authority to settle means that it's in your jurisdiction. You have the power to make a decision. Do both of y'all have the authority to settle on a decision made between both of y'all?
Yes.
All right, wonderful. Now, time constraints. We covered that. Ground rules. Okay. Now, ground rules for mediation is there will be no cursing. We don't want things to get out of hand. We'll talk to each other civilly. Okay. If any of y'all needs to speak, you will be given the chance to do so. Don't interrupt the other party. If you need to go to the bathroom, there's the bathroom down the hall to the right. And you are allowed to have what's called a caucus. Whatever time I set aside to talk to each of you individually is called a caucus, and that time will be given to the other person as well. And that's not mandatory, just if you want to. So, do y'all understand the ground rules?
Yes.
Now that y'all understand the ground rules, why don't we go ahead and start with Hector. Go ahead and tell us why you're here.
I'm here today to discuss the way the divorce has affected me financially. I want my house back immediately. I am raising both of my children without help, and the daycare and housing costs are difficult to manage. I paid for the house fair and square, and I should not be punished for same mistakes. Her betrayal was so bad she should not be allowed to see her 1-year-old daughter and 8-year-old son. She never even apologized, so for about 1 year, there have not spoken civilly in private or
All right. Now, Sandra, you can go ahead and tell us why you think you're here today.
I think we're here because I want my children back in the house, mine as it is his. Being a full-time mother was a job in itself. I will not stop going to court until I'm able to see my children again. I really wish Hector would be civil about this. My financial status may change really soon, and I feel that my rights as a mother are being ignored because I'm unemployed and because Hector's feelings have been hurt. We really need to talk. Many things have to change.
This is all your fault. That's why we're here. Don't you see that? I just want my house back and my girls taken good care of. I don't think you can help me at all.
Alright, Sandra. And I know it may be difficult to speak about what you're thinking, but that's why we're here. Sandra, how do you feel about what Hector has just stated regarding him being here because he wants his girls taken good care of and wanting his house?
How are you going to help me? You don't even have a job.
Well, I'm thinking about accepting a job offer beginning next week. All I have to do is say yes. I can watch them on my days off, but won't be paid until the end of every month.
I pay $600 in daycare alone a month for both children. Do you think you could pay half for that? I think not.
You know the house note costs $1,600 a month. How am I supposed to buy groceries for the rest of the month? And I still have to pay $400 for the utilities? My savings are running out.
Okay. Now, Sandra, is there any solution, alternative you can think to offer Hector?
Like I said, I can watch them on my days off, and on the days that we both work, we can ask my family to watch them.
Okay,
So neither of us have to pay out of pocket for daycare.
Okay, so your idea is that on your days off, you can watch them, or family can watch them if you're working, and vice versa. Now, Hector, what are your alternative solutions that you can offer?
I could live with that, but I don't want my children around any drinking or homes of non-relatives for their safety.
Okay, so it seems like Hector would be willing to work with the idea that you're coming up with about you helping watch them or family helping watch them. Sandra, would you be able to agree to those terms about not having children over around drinking or non-relatives? Does that sound like something you could do? The child support is going to come down to y'all sharing daycare costs.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to make a note, and believe it or not, you've actually worked out your first agreement. This will be put in writing. Now, let's move on to the issue about the house.
I didn't want to say this before, but I don't think I will ever be able to afford the house without you. My girl's full-time. I don't want it anymore.
That is not your decision to make alone. It's your fault that they're not there anymore. I didn't want the situation to go this way, but I want my house back for these girls.
What are you saying? You want to buy it from me?
I can't afford it right now. The house, $2,000 a month, which is more than I'm paying a month for the house.
Okay. All right. So it seems like our second issue is still about money. Hector again is expressing the inability to pay for his own monthly mortgage. It's $2,000, and then you can't pay for the house that y'all were living in. Now you're only living in it by yourself. Sandra, what are your thoughts other than selling the house?
I will be willing to let you back into the house. You stay with me for 3 months while I get on my feet first, and allow me to babysit my girls even when I move out.
Absolutely not. You just want to respond to
Okay. All right. Let's not get angry here, Sandra. So, you want Hector to move back in the house for 3 months so you can get back on your feet, and then you'll consider moving out. Something else that you could add?
I do. I don't want her to watch them there, but she can stay 3 more months, but that's it.
Okay, now please remember ground rules. I understand emotions such as anger and fear are present, but we must work past these emotions to reach the desired solution, possibly for each side. Okay, we can't always make everyone happy, but let's slow down a little bit. Hector, you can go ahead and speak now, but you can't interrupt Sandra. Go ahead.
Sorry, the truth is I want to reconcile, but I didn't want to make it easy on her. I would agree to the 3 months of her staying there if she moved out as soon as I moved in.
Now, Sandra, would you be willing to accept Hector's conditions? He wants you to move out after the 3 months. Reconciliation isn't something that's a subject he wants to touch today, or even, you know, while you're staying there those 3 months. Is there anything you have not shared, Sandra?
Okay, first of all, I want to reconcile. I never said anything about that. What was between us is done. So let's just move on from that. Yeah, that's fine. I want something too. I want for the 4 of us to go to family counseling. I feel like this between us has taken a toll on our girls, so we need to go for at least maybe a year or so until the divorce is finalized.
Okay, so what I hear Sandra saying is that, okay, she'll forget about mentioning reconciliation, but she does want family counseling until the divorce is finalized, at least for a whole year from this point on. What do you think about that, Hector?
I don't want to go to family counseling. There is not reconciling if that is what you want. The judge would not make me.
Okay. Now, after listening to both of you, it seems like you agree on Sandra living there for 3 months, but Hector does not want to go through any counselings or any risk and any reconciliation as part of the agreement. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay, so 3 months. Let me just write this down. Sandra, just to make sure that we write up a proper agreement that y'all agreed on, since we've had a lot of going back and forth, he'll let you stay there for 3 months and then you're to move out. What do you think about that? Do you agree?
Fine, I guess. But I do want to say I'm sorry for what I put you through. I will keep my agreement to watch the girls with the help of my family, though.
Okay, so it seems like we've reached a second agreement. The first one was on child expenses. You're going to split the cost of taking care of the child or the children, and then you're allowing her to stay there 3 months till she gets on her feet, and then you're going to take over the house. No family counseling is part of this. That's not part of the deal. So does it sound like we've reached an agreement? Is that correct?
Yes.
Miss Math, I'm sorry. I feel like I cannot make any decisions at this time after all. Can we reschedule for another time to finish this mediation? I have to think about what I really want, but I'm not ready.
Okay. So I understand at this time the 2 decisions that we thought y'all had agreed upon, you feel like you have to think about a little bit more. Sandra, do you understand? Do you understand that those agreements are now void? Nothing has been signed, nothing's on paper. He'd like to reschedule. Is that fine with you?
Yeah, that's fine with me. I'm kind of relieved he said the same, because I was about to say it too.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to get in contact with both of you calmly, and we'll reschedule a second mediation. And it's normal for these kinds of things to happen. So don't feel pressured. An agreement isn't always reached during the first meeting, but who knows what will happen. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and open up this door for y'all while y'all gather y'all's things. Alright, so welcome back. I know I just did my opening statement for y'all again, but that's just a formality. I have to do that every time, just to refresh y'all's memory. So, you've explained why you're here, and you've explained why you're here, and we're basically, it sounds like we're picking back up where we left off last time. Now, I know both of y'all set aside the proper time for this mediation. Last time it took quite a long time. We'll take whatever time it needs, and you know, hopefully we can get things solved today. Now, let's go ahead and begin with Hector.
I have decided I want my wife back and want to reconcile, and not finalize the divorce until further notice. She never apologized for it, and I think she deserves another chance.
Okay, so what I'm hearing, Hector, is that during our last mediation, which y'all have not spoken since then, y'all both told me that over the phone, but it sounds like Hector has just opened up, and he's really been thinking about your apology during the last mediation, and he's basing his decision not to finalize the divorce until further notice. Now, it does take two people to make this decision. So, Hector, if you'll give me a chance to let Sandra tell me what she thinks about the decision, because it has to be made by both of y'all. What do you think about what Hector has said?
I think I want the same thing. We need to... I've never really apologized for what I did, and I'm sorry again. But I've also decided not to sell the house without your consent. So, I guess we can try and work it out to see where it can go.
Okay, so it sounds like you've reached two agreements, not to divorce and not to sell the house. And as y'all know, I was appointed by the judge to try and prevent divorces in cases like this, if possible, if that's what y'all wanted, to help y'all communicate that. So I'll put all this in writing and let the judge know that y'all complied with that mandatory mediation. Go ahead and, let's see, the secretary just printed this. These computers are fast these days. Sign right here. Okay. All right. Well, I thank y'all for taking advantage of this mediation, and y'all have a great day. If you ever need my services again, y'all know where to find me.
Thank you.
Thank you.